Well, welcome. I didn't. Helps if I actually switch over to the right cam. All of a sudden, it's not working, of course. So sorry about that. We're gonna switch this over to from my iShare device here. Let's go ahead and screen share something, just so you guys have something else on your screen. Since for some reason this does not. There we go. the the fun parts of technology. So welcome to Glitch 2600. Sorry for the small snafu issue there. But welcome to the show. Sorry, again, that's one of the fun things about going live is, between a new laptop and everything, that means things are going to sometimes go wrong. So if you're new out there, please say hi, let me know you're here. Um, Otherwise, you probably don't know me all that well. You might if you're here, but you might not. I am Brian, aka Glitch, and I'm here to answer your tech questions. So this is our Tech Tuesday Tech Q&A. We're still trying to come up with a fun name, so if you have a cool name for that, let us know. But this is your Q&A time. If you have a tech question, just put Q and type it in the chat, and then I'll answer that. If you want to be kept semi-anonymous, you can always message me too, and just say you don't want it to be brought up on the air. But otherwise, you can type in those questions at any time. And like I said, just start with a Q so I don't lose it. When I'm looking through, I might not see it if you type anything else. But like I said, this is Tech Tuesday. We also do a happy hour. That's GH squared, so Glitch Happy Hour. And that's where we cover craft beer and wine and fun stuff. That's normally on the weekends. And then we have our Glitch Bits and Bytes, which there's no bits out there because we're working on them. Those are little 3 and 5 minute snippets of things you might need to know, much like stuff you get from this Q&A time. Just it's already broken up. Otherwise, our bytes are those longer 20 to 40-minute segments where we deep dive into different Wi-Fi, maybe, or what type of router you should get, or gaming. It could be photography, all sorts of different stuff. So keep an eye out for that. Still working on an Apple Watch episode. Just been busy with a little bit of work and other things that need to be done. Well, I'm glad my mom says hi. So I'm glad everyone's out there. If you guys have any tech questions, definitely let me know. Otherwise, we're going to just kind of fire through because tonight I'm going to be showing, after this, I've got a photo viewing to do. So we'll get done and I will be working on that for the photography side today. So did some senior portraits for the first time in a while since I've been taking a small break. And I get to show them their coolness here 7:30 Central. So of course, me being me means I'm still messing with them even down to last minute because I just like to play around with them. So still doing that. But if you guys don't have tech questions, then I can just start talking about general geekery and go that route. So I was trying to get something set up on the iPad so I could get everything going. But of course, it's not wanting me to do that. Let's see here. There. And hit done. Yep. Oh well. I was trying to get a nice little fun drawing tablet set up here, but I'll have to go into a different app because this one is not compatible. Like I said, the world of technology not always working exactly how we would like. But we don't have to cover it that way anyway. So I get asked a fair amount of time on different networking equipment and ways you might want to configure your house. I'm not going to go too deep into smart, devices and all that. I will tell you my house. I'll know when the garage door opens, when it closes, when the kids come and go through the front door. I can turn on and off the lights around me just by commanding them with the hey, you know who part. But that doesn't come necessarily easy. Everyone wants that set up, but it takes a fair amount of configuration. And having a strong network is part of it. So even just now, I got a little thing that someone was passing by the front door and I could hear that it opened and they came in as part of that automation and knowing. But all those things are called Internet of Things, IoT. Big I, little o, big T, Internet of Things. And your smart TVs, your smart refrigerators now, your smart dog walkers, drones, all that stuff can fall into, when you, even now cameras, into those IoT. The thing is most people don't realize is as they buy these things and tie them in, they're probably running routers and wireless equipment or wired equipment that's just a lot older. And with that, that makes a little bit of an issue, when they run in there. And actually, if you can't tell, the dogs decide to run down in the background because someone decided to let them downstairs when they weren't supposed to be. And I'm going to message real quick. Please get the dogs. Not supposed to be downstairs. Not my best show today. Sorry, guys. I'm going to make sure. And that's why we also have a middle kid, so we can also tell him to come get the dogs. Come get the dogs. So if you hear a bunch of that in the background, sorry that you're hearing a bunch of tinking and stuff like that, along with my laptop doing a little takeoff engine sound. So that's the Internet of Things, is all those types of devices. And you might get a bunch of them and then go, they might not work quite right. You might get things that don't operate when and how they're supposed to when you do that. So when we have those, you might have to upgrade your wireless. You might have to upgrade your router. If you've been running a router, most of the time routers will just keep going and going and going, but the technology will upgrade over time. The number of antennas on the inside. It's important to know in that case, and again, if you guys have any tech questions, put a Q in front and ask, and we'll stop on this tangent because I'll be doing a whole bites on it anyway. But your wirelesses have so many antennas in it. You might not see those antennas, but unlike a radio station, where it's just broadcasting, those antennas have to be coming and going. So think of it more like carports, or parking spaces. Sometimes stuff can't come in until something else gets out of the space. And so the more antennas, the better. Well, as things have come along, it used to only have a couple antennas on the inside, just like your cell phone. But as we had more and more internet devices, we had to start thinking more and more about our wireless and our router setup. And as wireless technologies change, the bandwidth of how it of what it can handle, the wavelengths, all the stuff that gets really geekery and too far, what can pass through walls, how it can pass through walls, the distance, how many megabits per second it can carry. I mean, if you've got a wireless video camera, the old wireless technology, f 11 megabits per second, it's much like the USB thing I talked about last week, a week before. Can't remember. You can go catch that episode where USB went from 11 megabits per second up to 480, and then more and more, so the more data it could bring. Well, wireless did the same thing, and it was slower and it through, but sometimes that slower technology can go and cover a bigger distance too. So one of the downsides is as we got better wirelesses, better, faster wireless, it couldn't go quite as far. And then they realized, hey, we can put more antennas and get people on and off of them and do these kind of arcing of it that allows it to go still a little bit farther and cover a house. But then you get into, there is a certain point where it can't, or it's the power on the antenna. That's why some routers are the size of an iPad Pro. It's just big and you'll see those ones say AC 3200 or 4000. That's because its coverage, AC, is around 4,000. Well, it's more than 4,000 square feet. If it's a 4,000, it's not an exact number there, but it's the higher that number, the more coverage it gets. Another technology you can kind of look into is mesh technology. And all mesh really means, and it would be better if I could draw it out, but since my stuff's not working, well, let's see here. Maybe I do still have another drawing app. I'm going to go find my kid's handy dandy drawing doodle pad, and let's see if it's on here. Yes, that's going to be fun. I'm bringing it up. We'll do a new. So we'll be painting with my finger on this one, and you get to see my kid's color version of this. All a mesh one means is if you had a house, and we'll draw a house. Disregard my really great artistic skills right now. And then we'll draw some floors. You know, and here's our living room, and then here's some bedrooms up here. Okay. In a normal router setup, we're going to make routers red because I can. If you had a normal router, you might have your phone line coming in. In fact, we'll put our phone line as in the Bell Blue phone line coming in, and then we'll connect that to our router. And our router might be coming into the house right here. And the signal would be coming through, and we'll do that. And it has to cover this range. Okay? Well, that's great, but it can only go so far. You got to think the device up here has farther for it to travel and come back, and that's not necessarily ideal. So let's back these off. So that's one way you can do it, and the bigger the router just means how far, again, when we do those wireless signals, how far it can go. But it still has to travel all that distance. Well, a mesh says, hey, let's make this main router down here in the corner, and then let's have these little satellites. And by a satellite, it means I can put another little device, a mini one, up here. Some of them are a 3 satellite system, but let's say, in this case, this one goes here, and it will have a little wireless connector between them, which will go back to green because I've been using green for wireless, but it has like a highway, a super highway between them. But now it can go wireless, 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 while this one goes wireless, wireless, wireless in these directions, and different devices now don't have to travel as far to get to them. The other thing is the number of antennas. So where this one down here might have been able to handle, 20 wireless devices. Let's actually, in this case, it would probably more likely be able to handle, truthfully, 10. Well, now you've essentially more than doubled it. It doesn't just double when you add a satellite. You don't just get 10 up here because remember, it's what comes in and off the antenna, and there's more antennas, so the percentage goes up higher. You're actually able to handle closer to almost 30 devices because of this. They're going to use up some antennas on their back end, but you'll get more there. If we add another satellite over here, then you get another bit of coverage. So this upper one covers most of the top floor. This covers this area. You can do that. And that's what an Orbi does. If you see the Orbis out there, that's the Netgear Orbi. There's also the Linksys Velop. You'll see the arrows, the Google Homes. The Google Homes, my problem, and what I like about the Orbi system is that this kind of green line that you see right here, that's called a wireless backhaul. And what normally happens in a wireless setup is that you'll talk to it and then it might use some of the same antennas to talk back and forth. Well, with the Orbis, they have a dedicated antenna that's capable of running at gigabit speeds between the two. That is just an antenna, just a private wireless network just for those two devices to talk. So you're not waiting for that to get open. It's like pretty much having a hardwired in line. The nice thing about the Orbi system too is that it can add ports on the back that if you need to have some way to wire in, you can wire into that if you have some that doesn't have wireless, or if you just need that little bit more reliable connection. You can plug into that, and then it'll use this very powerful wireless backhaul to transfer your data. But the nice thing, the more internet devices you get, the little smartphone, your smartphone here, your little phone, your refrigerator. We'll make that a refrigerator. your garage one, each of the little lights, maybe the light switches, the what little cameras up here. You might have a camera outside, out front. Your front door wire, connector. These all can now connect and not use up as much compared to having your laptop, your TV. Because keep in mind, in here, you're going to have a TV connection, maybe. Maybe there's another TV down here. Who knows? All of these then use up part of that wireless signal and part of that setup. So I say if you have a lot of wireless devices, if you have a lot of IoT, then it might be time to look at a mesh. They also get something called 5 gigahertz at that point, which 5 gigahertz is just a faster technology than the 2.4 gigahertz kind of older way, which is same as the old 2.4 phones. Remember for a while you saw where 2.4, then 5 gigahertz came out, then you saw DECT 6, all sorts of stuff. Well, that 5 gigahertz is just a faster wireless technology, which allows the things to get on and off faster. It also permeates the walls differently than the 2.4. All of these routers are able to do both at the same time, or you can even make dedicated networks if you're going to get fancy. Most home users, you guys aren't going to get too fancy with it. Us techs might go and name one glitch 5 gigahertz and the other one 2.4 or 2.4, just so we know we're connecting to the right network, for the most speed, because you're going to get the most out of there. They run on different channels. There's all sorts of geekery stuff that the more geeky you are, the more that might be. Well, you guys probably aren't going to do that. So they can run at the same time. They'll have both networks. They can permeate and make it where you need to go. My house, I'm running a mesh. I'm running a single router, single satellite mesh. I will be probably sometime in the future upgrading to a 2 satellite mesh. And the reason for that is to get just a little bit more coverage when I walk out my front door. Sometimes when I'm wanting to close my garage, my signal doesn't make it quite as far because in my setup, I have my first floor and then it goes down to my basement because that's where I needed the extra coverage at the time. And now I need it to go more towards the front of the house. So that's where I'm looking at the new Orbi Wi-Fi 6. Not because, other than my iPhone, not because I have another thing that can support Wi-Fi 6, but because that one can support then 60 plus IoT devices. And if you can guess, I have a lot of IoT, and heck, even my GoPro can connect through wireless and do wireless uploads. So the more of that, the more auto upload stuff that I have automated for kids, their backup. I mean, even at the table, we might have 3 iPads running and a partridge in a pear tree for the most part, all at the same time. So that might be, what's going on there, and it might be something, But because of that, because of all those devices and all my wireless switches and all that, I'll probably be upgrading mine to the Wi-Fi 6 that can support more and faster IoT connections, but also the number of them. So I don't know if that helps anyone out there, but really, if you're having some trouble at home too, one of the things we ran into at Wine Cells was that they were just running an older router, and it was old enough that it was causing problems with their live streams. Once we upgraded, stuff worked a lot better. So even though that Airport Extreme can run for 20, 30 years, it seems like, heck, I still have some Airport Expresses. If I have one over here, let me see if I can grab it. I don't really have one. It looks about like this. It's a little Airport Express. I still have 3 of those that will just run forever that I should probably sell 1 or 2 because, they're just good little hacker, portable devices, for quick wireless, but they're not as powerful anymore. But they'll run forever. Just because they can doesn't mean you necessarily should. As technology changes, if you're staying up with technology, then it's a good idea. If you're upgrading a lot of the other technology in your house, if you're getting a lot of wireless and other devices, think about replacing that router with something that's at least been made in the last 5 years. Really, in the last 1 to 2 would be better. You'll get more bang for your buck. You could save money on the Orbi system by not getting a Wi-Fi 6. You'll still be way farther ahead. I need it because of the sheer number. And if you're a IT geek, you're probably going to go Wi-Fi 6, and you probably don't need this anyway. And you're willing to spend a little bit more money up front. But otherwise, those Orbi systems, they're a pretty good investment. So what do you do when your roommate is using all your bandwidth? Then you do what I do with the Orbi, and you turn them off. One of the nice things about the Orbi, and a cool setup, let's see here. Let's see if I can show it on here. I wonder if I have utilities Orbi. We'll launch it up on my iPad so I can show you, because this is a lot of fun. Okay. Otherwise, we'll connect my iPhone, because I know that one's got it. Hello. Okay, just bring it. Maybe we won't. Maybe I don't have this logged in yet. We'll get it set up. Now I can show you what we do, because it's just a lot of fun. Because I use it to mess with the kids. Let's see if I have my Netgear. I do not on there. All right. That's all right. We'll just show it another way here in a second. Should have just had this one pre-set up. See if as a tech, I remember one of my 8 bajillion passwords. I normally keep everything in a password vault called 1Password. That's funny. Yeah, I normally keep all of my stuff in a password vault. This, of course, is one of them I had from before I had my new vault. So it's hard for me to, I just have to go check, get this to go. Oh, no. That's the right email address. Let's see here one more time. It lets me log in this time. Yes, enable Face ID. Cool. Love my Face ID here. Maybe later. Ah, no. Sheesh. If this thing could just be a little bit more picky on letting me have my stuff and put it in here, that would be great. It's not wanting me to put in anything for it. So, router. Orbi. Yeah. It's funny as I'm going through all the software setup because I normally have it on my iPhone. And of course, this isn't my iPhone. So, and that is not the password. Let's see if it signs me in this time. There we go. Yes, enable. All right, connect. All right, finally. Maybe later. If this thing could ask me another question, that would be great. All right. Sorry, it took forever for that to come up. The fun thing is when you have something like an Orbi and it's all set up, is there is an advanced web page, but when you have the app, see, this is where I can see the satellites and stuff that I have on there. I can see my network map. If I do that and bring it up, it'll show what all's on there, and then I can see the devices that are connected to it. The fun thing is is you'll notice that little checkbox on the side for pause or resume. So if I really want to, I could turn off my iPad or iPhone connection there along the side, or that one that says ATV Jared bedroom means I could stop him from having the connection in his bedroom. You know, there's Aaron, there's my Nest camera, there is the kids. See, I have a fair amount of devices. But if I wanted to mess with Parker, same thing. There's a Lena iPad. If I wanted to, I'd just uncheck that box and she won't have wireless for a little while. Can't get on the network. So that's something kind of fun you can do with the app if you want. Like I said, I can go into all of these. And it shows all my 2.4 and my 5 gigahertz. But like I said, if I want to, I can come down here and turn off Parker's iPad if I wanted to, which is just kind of fun. So if someone's eating up all of my bandwidth, that's something I can do on here. And I've done it before while the kids were deciding to do stuff while I was streaming. So I've gone on there and done that at least a time or two. But while I'm thinking of it, if you're new here, still say hi. If you have any tech questions, still pop a Q out in front and I'll see it and know to answer your question. Otherwise, I might not see it. I mean, luckily it's, there's only so much on here, and you can post your questions in the after also, and you can message me through the Glitch 2600 page, really hard to find if you just follow that. Otherwise, while I'm thinking of it too, let's just head over here and pop up the old subscribe on YouTube, or i.e. hover over that QR code and your phone will ask you, if you hover over it with your smartphone, it will ask you if you want to go there and subscribe. And that would obviously be great. There's sometimes stuff that's different on each of these. And really, if you even caught this weekend, we did an impromptu live this weekend from Ceviche Bar as part of our Glitch Happy Hour series. We did a happy hour postscript / on location is what they were joking around calling it, the postscript, where we reviewed some at Ceviche. A little bit more lower key, didn't have some of the cool setup. We just used the GoPro and went. But that's only available on Facebook. If you're on YouTube, you have to go over there and see that. We only put it there. We could upload it to YouTube. Really, in the future, we'll be simulcasting to both. But there might be times where we create some content that works better for one or the other. So if you like it, go over there, subscribe. If you're on there and want it to, then come over here to Facebook and just type at Glitch 2600, or just type Glitch 2600, all one word. Come here and hit the like up there and follow. Why do I not see? You mean on the actual screen or in the chat? In the chat, you should definitely see her reply if you're both on the chat there. If you're on the page chat, so if you're to the video and looking, normally if it's full screen, you'll see it to the right. Otherwise, if you're looking at it on a phone, it'd normally be to the bottom. You'll see the chat there. Now on the screen, it's whether I click the add to broadcast button that I have on here. I can pop it up at any point because I can add chats and I can make it hide just by my click on there. Otherwise, if you're on the chat, are you on an iPhone while you're watching it, or are you on a computer? Because that would be possibly. You should see it on the bottom then, if you're in yours. So if I were to bring mine up, so let's just follow along. I'm going to bring mine up, switch over to the live. Yes, both. Yes, both as you're on a laptop and on an iPhone? Or you're just doing it only on an iPhone? Which both are you referring to? Okay. Yeah, you should both see each other. And did you get to it from the Glitch 2600 page, or did you get to it from another page? Because if you're on the glitch 2600 page, which I'm popping up right now, I'm going to bring up my chat. Okay. But yeah, if I go in there and I'm bringing up the live video right now, yeah. If I bring it up, you'll see. Yep. See how it pops up at the bottom? Now you only see it at the bottom if you click into it. Otherwise, if you're in wide, you won't see it. So you won't see the questions unless you click this. There's a comments on and off, and you should see it when they post it live. But otherwise, you won't see it as well when it's landscape. You'll see it when you go like that. So it says swipe left to reveal comments, and then you'll see it. Let's mute this so it's not, so we're not getting a duplicate one there. I should mute it, but yeah, once I click in, that's where I see it. But here, let me see what you're saying on here. You mean, I see Sandy, you sent me a screenshot, but I see your response right there on your screenshot that you sent me. I see your response. It's right there. Phone is up and down. Yeah, when it's up and down, you'll see the chat, but I see that in the screenshot you sent. I see a response right there. Mm-hmm. I know you sent me a text. I just, that's what I'm saying. I just saw it in there. I'm trying to see where this is at in the chat. We are together on the bottom. Sandy's watching with you. Well, there was no, in the screenshot that you sent me, there was no chat from Sandy in there at that point. So when you sent me the screenshot, I don't know who. Yeah, this is a lot for me to pop up on the screen here. No, the one that, I don't know who. I don't know for that. If we want to troubleshoot that, I'll probably troubleshoot that off air for you. Because I see all the chats going on there, and the key is really being up and down or sideways. In the screenshot you sent me, there was, I just brought up the chat view on my laptop, and she wasn't typing at that time, so there wouldn't have been anything in that screenshot. So it looks exactly how it's supposed to at the time. I don't see any difference based on your question. When the screenshot you sent me, it was the only time there was a chunk where she wasn't putting it. I don't know who she is talking. She sent you a message saying, I don't know who she's, that doesn't show. Well, in your screenshot you sent me, yeah, when she said that, I don't know who she's talking. One, it would have to go back so far, you know, with the, I don't know what she's talking about, because that's not in the screenshots, because I see that is watching. So according to that, it looks like it was almost when maybe she disconnected and rejoined at that same point. Let me see if I see it on here. And then you'll see it. Let's mute this so it's not, so we're not getting a duplicate one there. Because yeah, you can only go back so far in the view too. So if you disconnect and reconnect, depending on the time, you're not going to see. Because like I disconnected and reconnected, so I'm not seeing all of the stuff because it's not live anymore. And I can only go back so far. So unless I kill that off, let me see if I relaunch it. On a laptop, you can do a little bit more. But see, yeah, I can't go back as far and view as much on here. It'll only show me so much of it. Still same kind of problem if I turn off comments on. So if I turn on comments on, you can see it when it's landscape. You just have to hit the little button up here that says comments on. And it'll let me see them pop up on the screen right there. But that's making sure that the comments are on. Of course, it's not letting me see all that now. See. Let me see what's going on there. All right, for a few. Okay. I'm going to kill off streaming that, so I'm not streaming anymore. And kill off that one. So, but yeah, I think that kind of answers their question. But if she popped on or off in between, you'll lose some of the comments. Different wireless connection. If you're on it and lose it, then on a laptop you can say show all comments. On a phone, it's a little bit more tricky. It's only showing you the last so many. So it'll show watching with you. Like I saw that it said my mom is watching with me, and then I saw her comments after. But since I joined around the same time she popped something on there, I wasn't able to see all the comments because it only shows so many of the last few, and it seems to only go so far back. If you're watching it live, you can scroll for a bit, but even then, it hits a point where it just buffers it out. That's the Facebook app. You might be able to do it on the actual website with your phone, and you can see a little bit more, but with the app, it doesn't seem to be letting it go back quite so far. But still, while I'm thinking of it, if anyone else has any questions, just type a Q in front. Otherwise, we're probably not going to go much longer because we've been going for 42 minutes ish. And we've been talking about wireless connections and that type of stuff. Hopefully the kind of mesh Orbi setup kind of makes sense to everyone. It's not a full explanation. We'll deep dive into really showing that. I'll make it cool when we do that. But again, just an idea that if you do have a lot of internet connected devices and you haven't upgraded that router, it might not be a bad time. If your router's 5-6 years old, sometimes your internet troubles at home aren't really your ISP, your internet service provider. Sometimes it really is that router that you got. It might just be you're asking more of it than it did before. You've upgraded your phone. Your phone has different wireless technology. You may have upgraded printers at home. You may have upgraded a number of things that use the wireless, and you've given a number of access there. One of the other things I like about the Orbi and some of the other ones is the guest network that you can turn on. So I'm not a big fan of giving people my wireless passwords. So I have a separate guest network. A lot of these have that where all they can do is go out to the internet. They can't talk to my printer without me doing it. They can't talk to my TV without being on a different network per se. And it's all done through one router. And that's really nice because then I turn that on and off when I need it. So if I know I'm going to be hosting people, I turn on my guest, my Gen X guest one or my glitch guest. When I'm not, I turn it off and it just saves some of the antenna. And then if not that I have friends that would sit outside and surf the internet from the street, but if for some reason that was the case, or if neighbors on accident, if they were over and connected, and then they're at home and it's just close enough they don't on accident jump on my wireless and use up my bandwidth, that's part of the reason why I turn that off too. But I do like having that guest feature. So most routers kind of built in the last, I think, 10 years have that capability, but definitely some of the newer ones. But again, if you have a large area to cover, think about maybe looking at that mesh. If you don't have a large area to cover, then you can get by with something like the Netgear Nighthawk, which just has, you can tell it has a bunch of these little antennas. I know it looks like an alien spaceship, but it has a bunch of antennas coming off of it. But then, because you don't have to cover such a geodiverse area in a smaller house, you can get by with one of those and they can normally handle quite a few devices, upwards of, I think, 25 to 30 devices. So if you count your wireless, and if it's just you, or if it's a small number of people in the house, then you could probably get by with one of those. If you have a larger house, if you're hitting that 3,000 square foot plus size, then really I would ditch it and just go towards a mesh. And if you have more than 30 wireless devices, I would probably go. Not probably. That would be my stone cold recommendation. Go to a mesh. You're going to need it for all the antennas. You're going to need it for just the reliability for those IoT devices. And don't do like I did and go a little cheap the first time, thinking, hey, I'm going to save $100, not getting the multiple satellite setup. I just got the 2. It works fine for my house, but you got to think about where you're having to geographically put those. I ended up with a reason why I had to put mine there. Otherwise, 2 would have covered my house okay, but 3's better. And now I'm going to have to spend that money and sell my Orbi to get the new Orbi, which someone will get a nice upgrade out there. I saw a really cool one on sale on Facebook for a friend that I'm going to help them track down too. But if no one has any other questions, I've been rambling on, and I've got photos to edit and things to get prepped for. So if you guys don't have any more questions, remember to subscribe and join, share, and like. We'll be doing another Tech Tuesday, Tech Thursday, whatever day we start coming up with. If you guys come up with a cooler name, like I said not that long ago, if someone comes up with a cooler name, once I have a logo, I'll probably get some cool swag of something built. And if so, I will send you something. If you guys come up with a name that I use for our Tech TV / Tech, if you guys like Tech TV, we'll make that the Tech one for our quick Q&A. Like I said, we might not always do it on Tuesdays. Right now it seems to work, but that doesn't always work with the schedules once kids go back to school and all that fun stuff. So again, thanks for joining. If you guys have questions, again, post them after. Catch us for the happy hour. It's probably going to be on Saturday. We're doing some cool stuff with Wine Styles on Friday night. So it'll probably be Saturday, might be Sunday, but it'll probably be Saturday night. We'll get that posted up here soon too, so that if you guys want to drink along, you'll know what we're drinking and can be on for that one. And it'll be a little bit later. It won't be a 5 o'clock one again. So it'll be a little bit later. So that seems to work for most people. But otherwise, it was nice seeing you guys, talking to you guys. Hopefully you got something out of it. And we'll catch you on the next one. All right. See ya.